quiet shadows of a forgotten Indian town, where the mist clings tightly to the crumbling rooftops and the air is thick with secrets, children whisper warnings that adults refuse to heed. At the heart of their nighttime fears is a tale older than the oldest banyan tree, a story that slithers through the alleys and back streets. The legend of the clown, a haunting figure whose painted grin is said to conceal 1,000 unspeakable sorrows. Long ago, the town bustled with laughter and joy, hosting grand fairs every summer. In those days, the main attraction was a clown named Hasya, whose wild antics and painted face delighted everyone. His laughter was infectious, echoing through the crowded tents and across the moonlit fields. But beneath the cheerful makeup, Hasya concealed a growing despair. He performed each night for the applause, but no one knew the man behind the mask. No one cared for the broken soul beneath the painted smile. One monsoon season, the festival came to a tragic end. A fierce storm swept in, tearing through the fairground and leaving devastation in its wake. Hasya was last seen running into the darkness, his laughter drowned by the howling wind. When the sun rose, the fairground was gone, and so was he. After that night, strange things began to happen. Children vanished from their beds, leaving only smears of white paint on their pillows. Parents dismissed the stories at first, blaming wild animals or runaways. But the children knew better. They spoke of a figure that lingered just beyond the edge of sleep, a clown with empty eyes and a twisted smile, whispering promises of endless laughter. Years passed, and the legend grew, feeding on the town's fear and sorrow. The adults tried to bury the past, but the clown would not be forgotten. Whispers claimed he haunted the abandoned fairground, luring the curious and the reckless into his domain. Some said he was searching for company, desperate for someone to share his eternal loneliness. Others believed he sought revenge, his laughter now warped into something cruel and inhuman. Then, in the early days of 2022, a new kind of terror took hold. Deep in the night, an animated series called The Clown began to circulate online, produced by Cooney Monday. Its eerie animation and sinister storytelling captivated audiences across YouTube and Spotify. Children huddled together to watch, their faces lit by the ghostly glow of screens. The series drew viewers in, blurring the line between fiction and reality. Each episode unraveled a piece of the clown's story, his tragic past, his longing for laughter, his descent into madness. But it wasn't just entertainment. Those who watched too closely, who let the story seep into their dreams, started to change. They reported seeing fleeting glimpses of Hasya's painted face in mirrors, or hearing his deranged giggle echoing in empty rooms. Some even found white paint smeared across their own faces when they awoke, as if the clown had visited them in their sleep. The legend of the clown twisted itself around the town's collective consciousness, weaving old fears with new. It drew on the roots of Indian folklore, where spirits and jinn lurk in the shadows, and creatures like the Munjia, a mischievous spirit from the Konkan region, are said to haunt the living. In 2024, the film Munjia brought these old fears to new audiences, using cutting-edge CGI to breathe life into ancient nightmares. Audiences shivered as the Munjia's spectral form flickered across the screen, and the line between legend and reality blurred a little more. The horror comedy genre bloomed, with films like Kapkapi, an adaptation of the Malayalam hit Romancham, capturing the nation's imagination. Yet even as laughter mingled with screams, the legend of the clown remained the purest form of terror, a story that refused to be contained by screens or stories, that crept into the silence between heartbeats. In the dead of night, families still tell their children to lock their windows and keep the lights burning. They remember the old stories, how the clown is drawn to laughter, how he slips into your room when you're alone, how he waits in the shadows for someone to play with. They warn children never to follow the sound of distant giggling, never to trust a painted smile. On the edge of town, the old fairground stands abandoned, its gates rusted and its tents long since decayed. Locals claim that if you visit at midnight, you can still hear faint strains of carnival music drifting on the wind. Some say they've seen a figure wandering among the ruins, his white face gleaming in the moonlight, his smile frozen forever. There are stories of those who dared to enter the fairground, seeking to unravel the truth behind the legend. Some returned, pale and shaken, unable to speak of what they had seen. Others never came home, their names whispered as warnings. The lucky ones escaped with only a lingering sense of dread, a fear that the clown story was not just a tale, but a curse passed down from generation to generation. Every year, as the festival season approaches, the town grows restless. Children dream uneasy dreams, and parents keep a wary eye on the shadows. The legend of the clown is retold in hushed voices, each telling adding new horrors. The line between the living and the dead, between laughter and terror, grows thin. Perhaps Hasya was once just a lonely man behind a painted smile, craving the warmth of laughter. Perhaps the storm that claimed him was not an accident, but the work of something darker, something that feeds on sorrow and fear. Or perhaps the clown is more than one man. Perhaps he is an idea, a spirit born from the town's collective guilt and grief, doomed to wander the earth in search of an audience. Whatever the truth, the legend endures. And tonight, as the wind rattles the window panes and the moon casts eerie shadows across the room, you might hear a faint giggle, far away but growing closer. You might glimpse a flash of white paint in the darkness, or feel the icy brush of a gloved hand against your cheek. So remember, laughter can be a blessing, but in the dead of night, it can also be a curse. And if you ever see a clown with a painted smile and hollow eyes, don't look away. He's already seen you. The story of the clown is not just a tale to frighten children. It is a warning, whispered in the dark. Some smiles are never meant to fade.